no. Oh my goodness. I've been having such technical difficulties today. At first, my mic wasn't working, and I was trying to figure it out, and now my model isn't working! I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. There we are! Okay, now we can move. So there's at least that. There's at least that. Now we can move. Can you guys hear me? Can we hear? My mic wasn't working, so I had to unplug it and plug in one of my old mics, one of my USB mics. So we're not on my XLR today, cause it was like, I don't know what was happening. It was just messing up so much. It's like every time I would talk, it would sound like a robot. It'd be like no. So I don't know if like one of my cats ate up my cords or what, but it wasn't working. You like Chisato from Licorice Recoil? That is so hilarious that you mentioned that, because whenever we were still in jail in Slack, that was a big joke that we would make. We would talk about how if I had red eyes and a red outfit, I would look just like Chisato. We talked about it all the time. So I thought it'd be really fun to give you guys the full Chisato experience today. Welcome in. I have some Sonic today, so we're gonna munch down on a little snack. If there's one thing about me, you guys probably don't know this, but if there's one thing about me, I love Sonic. I'm a really big fan of mozzarella sticks, so I have some mozzarella sticks. And the way that I like to eat them is I like mozzarella sticks in ranch. But I don't just like them in ranch, guys. I like mozzarella sticks, so this is how I do it. This is the Nano way. Okay? Are you guys excited? Are you guys excited to learn the Nano way? This is how you must eat your mozzarella sticks from Sonic. You get the sticks, and then you get the marinara sauce, and then you get the ranch, and then you dip it into the marinara sauce and then into the ranch. And it's the most delicious, most wondrous thing that you have ever tasted in your entire life. And we're gonna try it right now. So we go marinara, and then we go into the ranch. And it tastes like joy. I look like a shrimp? That's mean. I do not look like a shrimp. I look beautiful. Mukbang ASMR. Yeah, let's have a mukbang today, guys. Eating my mozzarella sticks and drinking my strawberry limeade. It's so delicious. So you make marinara? Wait, I kind of love it. Not a shrimp! I did not look like a shrimp. Oh, I forgot my intro. Hello, everyone. Welcome into the stream. Navigating through the stars and straight onto your screen. It's Navina. Hello. I'm sorry I forgot it. I'm so sorry. What else do they sell at Sonic? Sonic has everything. Sonic is like quintessential American fast food. It's like burgers, chicken tendies, fries, hot dogs, tater tots, mozzarella sticks. What else do they have? I think they have corn dogs. I think they have French toast. They have everything. They have everything. Alterniano is eyes friendly. What does that mean? I don't get it. I don't get it. Sonic doesn't sell wings anymore. Did they used to have wings? They just have everything. They have a lot of stuff. Sonics don't have Nano? Yeah, they do. You just have to, it's a secret menu item. You have to say, hey guys, can I get the Nano special? And then they'll just pull out like a little printer paper of my model, and they'll be like, here you go, and it's a headshot. That's how you really do Sonic. You get the Nano special. It's just my headshot on printer paper. Okay, I gotta take another bite. not the criminal mugshot. Listen, that's some quality, unique merch right there. No one else is selling headshots as merch. We're gonna finally be boomer allegations with this stream? Maybe, probably not. Is your voice lower than usual? Oh, am I quiet? It's probably because my mic. I don't have my XLR set up right now. So I don't have, like, usually I have like EQ and compression and all sorts of stuff on my voice, but today we're using a USB mic because it was the only thing that was working. So my voice might be a little less slayful than usual. I hope that's okay. Maybe you're like a crab or a lobster. I will take lobster. I will agree to being a lobster because lobsters are delicious. Actually, no, because I don't want to be eaten. I take that back. I don't want to be a lobster. New voice for new look. It's just my raw voice with no effects on it. Nana's going to go into a tangent later about her favorite episodes of Ranma. I could talk about my favorite episodes of Ranma for hours. There's one episode of Ranma that I love so freaking much, but it's like... it's really a very sus episode. But it's my favorite. I used to rewatch it all the time. But then I would get so embarrassed if anybody ever saw me watching this episode, because my mom, who's the one that like got me into anime and stuff, was like, "Oh, I don't like that episode. It's weird." And it was like my favorite. 60% of Ranma are sus episodes. That's true. Actually, there's 2 episodes of Ranma that I really, really, really love. I can talk to you all about. I would love. Okay, so like, I think I'll write. Okay, I didn't take another bite of food. So, something about me is I love to describe things in great detail. That is my favorite thing to do, and I think it annoys a lot of my friends. Because whenever I'm like reading a book or watching a movie or watching a show or like a manga or whatever, I love to just like recap the experience of watching it and like summarize the entire show for them. It's like one of my favorite things to do in conversation. I just really like info dumping. I think it's ADHD maybe. I don't know. The title's not clickbait, by the way. I do have ADHD. I'm not a liar. But I just love to like info dump about random stuff. And my friends always are like, no, you can't. You can't do this. You can't just summarize the entirety of Sailor Moon for us in 3 hours. This is not entertaining for us. And I'm like, but it's so fun. And they're like, you know what? Do this on stream. Your chat will like it. Your chat will like it. So I don't know if they are saying that because they don't want me to do it to them and they're annoyed by it, or if they truly believe you'll like it. So this could be them sabotaging you guys. Who knows? We'll see. They're throwing off all of the weight of listening to me recap everything onto you guys. But I would love to lore dump for you guys. So we can definitely talk about my favorite Ranma episodes if you want. If you want, that can be the start, because I did see somebody ask about it, and I can definitely go into full detail about everything that I love about Ranma. Who's this reddish alien cat? It's Nona! It's Navina Nona! Or what was it? Naniva Nona. I'm not Nona. I'm Nano. But I guess if I'm pink, you can call me Nona. I'll take it. I never watched this, so it'll be interesting hearing you talk about it. Okay, so okay. Hi, Ayu. I am pink today. Maybe we'll be purple next time. We'll be Ayu's twin for a day. Huh? thought this was Steve from account. I would be such a bad accountant. I'm not very good with math. I'd be awful at it. I'd be awful at it. Akai nano. Oh, that's cute. That's very cute. Alright, okay. So, before I get into detail about my favorite Ranma episodes, I feel as though it is important to explain the plot of Ranma to those of you who may not be interested, those of you who may not be familiar with the series. I would like to warn you, it is... When I explain the plot to you, you're gonna immediately think it's sus, and you're gonna immediately think, what is this girl talking about? And you're gonna be really weirded out, but I just need you to trust me on this one. It is so good. And yes, it is sus. However, it's really funny, and it has really good martial arts scenes. The animation is really killer for the time, in my opinion. I think the martial arts is animated really well for the 90s. And it's really funny, it's really entertaining. I think it has a very charming dub, aside from a little bit of the... There's some characters in it that are given some interesting choices with their accents. But I think the voice actors for Ranma and Akane specifically are really good. And the voice actors for Nabiki, I really like her too. Oh, and Ukyo's voice actor in... So this is something cool. So the voice actress for Ukyo plays Sango in Inuyasha, in the dub for that. And the voice actress for Ranma, for part of it, so the voice actress for Ranma changes halfway through. So for the first season and then all of the OVAs, it's this girl playing male Ranma. And then for the rest of the show, it's the voice actor for Inuyasha, who's a guy. But the girl playing boy Ranma did a great job. She sounded just like a teenage boy. Perfect. She killed it. But they did end up changing the voice actors, and it is a very stark difference. So if you watch the dub and you're watching, you will hear it and you'll be like, who is this? it's like it goes from this like really like I don't know how to do it, but like whenever the girl is doing Ranma, like she has this like really deep voice, but it sounds very boyish. But then whenever you get to, I think it's Justin Cook, for the second half of it, he has this really gruff voice. It's very different. But I like both of them. I think they both did a great job. I watched it in Spanish. Should I rewatch the English? The English is good. I liked the Spanish dub a lot too. I watched parts of that as well. I think, honestly, the English dub, the Spanish dub, the original Japanese, they are all very charming. Like, and I think it's just because the characters are so charming. It's a very charming show, you know? It's a very charming show. But essentially, I'll explain for those of us who may not know. Ranma one half starts out with this young boy named Ranma. I believe he's 15. And did you mention that Ranma is the previous work of Inuyasha's author? Oh, yes. So Ranma is the same creator of Inuyasha, Urusei Yatsura, My Sonikoku, Kimagure Orange Road, Kyokai no Rine, and Mao. So a lot of stuff. A lot of iconic stuff. Rumiko Takahashi, the icon that she is, created so much of my childhood. But, as I was saying, so Ranma starts off with this young 15-year-old boy named Ranma Saotome, right? And Ranma Saotome has long black hair tied into a pigtail, like a braid, like a little braid in the back. And he also has a father who is a perverted old man. And they one day decide to escape their lives and go on the run for many years. Whenever Ranma's like 5, they go on the run from Genma, his father, from Ranma's mom, Genma's father's wife, Ranma's mom. They decide to go on a journey to find their honor and to become master martial artists to prove themselves, right? Right? And so they leave and they go on this journey and they go to many different places. They do many different things. They get into many different hijinks. Ranma gets promised, betrothed, engaged to like 20 different women as throughout his childhood. But they all end up being hoaxes. The father's lying to all of these parents of these poor girls, saying, "I'll marry off my son to you if you give me food or a cart or whatever," and then they run away. So he's leaving just a strew of angry women around, right? And they decide that they are gonna, they're gonna go to this really cool training ground called Jusenkyo. And they go to this training ground in Jusenkyo, and they're fighting. And Jusenkyo is like all of these different springs with like poles, like bamboo poles sticking out the top of it. And the purpose is you're supposed to fight on top of the poles. You have to keep your balance and fight each other and not fall into the springs. So it's like this super challenging like terrain, and they want to really prove themselves. So they're fighting. And Ranma kicks his father off into one of the springs, and the father falls. He goes, "Ah!" And he's falling, and he's like, "Oh my gosh!" And then he hits into the spring, and you're like, "What happened?" And then, out of the spring pops a panda. A panda? What? How could that be? How is this possible? I'm sure you're asking these questions, but it's true. He pops out as a panda, and the attendant or tour guide or whatever of the spring of Jusenkyo is like, "Oh no, you fell into the spring of drowned panda." So actually, in that spring, hundreds of years ago, a panda drowned in that spring, and now anyone who falls into it will turn into a panda when they're splashed with cold water. So whenever he's splashed with cold water, he turns into a panda, and when he's splashed with warm water, he turns back into a creepy old man. Right? And then Ranma, I don't remember how he falls, but he also gets all wibbly wobbly and he falls down. Ah! I feel like his father pushes him in, but I can't remember. But he falls down. He goes, "Wah!" And do you want to know what spring Ranma falls into? The spring of drowned girl. What? So now, anytime Ranma is splashed with cold water, he turns into a red-headed, pigtailed girl with really big boobs. And whenever he's splashed with warm water, he turns back into a man. Right? So now they're obviously, they can't believe that this has happened to them, and they don't know what to do. So they decide to travel back to, are they in Tokyo? I can't remember. I don't think they're in Tokyo. I don't remember where they are. But they decide to travel back to Genma's old friend, right? Genma has this friend who runs a dojo called the Tendo Dojo, right? And he has 3 daughters. And Genma's like, "We will go to the Tendo Dojo, and we will marry you off to one of his daughters, and we will take over. This is what we must do. Our journey has to have come to an end. We have trained." Not Tokyo, maybe somewhere remote, like Kyushu. I really don't remember. I'm gonna look this up. Where does Ranma take place? I feel like it's not Tokyo. Oh, it is Tokyo. They are in Tokyo. Okay. They go to Furinkan High School in Tokyo. I thought it was. Interesting. Anyways. So. They decide that they're gonna go to Tokyo to live with Mr. Tendo. I don't remember his first name. I think it's Son. I think his name is Son Tendo. So they decide that they're gonna move there. So they travel all the way back to Tokyo, and when they arrive, Son has his 3 daughters, but it's a rainy day. So when they arrive as a panda and a pigtailed girl. And Son is like, "Genma, my friend, you're here, but you're a panda now. That's weird. Also, I thought you had a son. You have a daughter? Well, I guess your daughter can't marry any of my daughters. That wouldn't work." And so he's like, "Man, I guess the engagement's off, but you guys can still stay here for a little bit." And so they meet the 3 daughters. There's Kasumi, the oldest, and she's like the motherly figure, because the Tendos, they don't have a mom. Their mom is dead. So motherly role. She's the eldest daughter. She does all the cooking and all the cleaning and the grocery shopping, and she's very, very sweet and very, very pretty. And then you have the middle child, Nabiki. And Nabiki is... So Kasumi is 19. Nabiki is, I think, 17. And... I'm sorry for giggling. I just get nervous whenever I talk about things like that. So, Kasumi is 19. Nabiki is, I think, 17. And Akane is 15. Nabiki is, you know, she's a 17-year-old. She's obsessed with money. She's always trying to con people into stuff. She just wants cash. And she's a mean girl, but she's really pretty, so it's okay. And Akane, you know, she's really hot-headed. She's the only one of the 3 daughters that wants to carry on the family tradition. She wants to be a martial artist. She wants to carry on the family name. She wants to run the dojo. And she's all about it, but she's real hot-headed, and she hates men. She hates men. She despises them. Because every single day when she goes to school, 100 different men try to challenge her in fisticuffs. They try to do a martial arts challenge with her, because this one guy at the school, Kuno, who's the leader of the kendo club, he's like, whoever can beat Akane in a fight can take her on a date. And Akane's like, I don't want to go on a date with any of these people. And Kuno is like, I'm not listening to you. So everybody just fights her all the time. And men are always trying to date her and always trying to fight her. She just doesn't like men, you know? Also, yes, Ranma's more comedy than action, but there is some good action. Kuno's a little weirdo. He's a little weirdo, but we'll get to that. So she hates men, right? So whenever she realizes that Ranma is a girl and not a boy, she's so happy. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so relieved. Honestly, I was really nervous whenever I heard that you were a guy and that I was gonna have to get engaged to you, because I just hate men. But you're just a sweet little girl. Like, we could be besties. And Ranma was like, yeah. And so they do a little fight, and Akane's like, wow, you're so good at fighting. You're so cool. And Ranma was like, yeah. Thank you. And Akane is like, yeah. So then Ranma is like, okay, well, I'm gonna go take a bath. So Ranma goes to take a bath in hot water, of course. This whole time, by the way, Ranma's been in girl form. So Ranma goes to take a bath in hot water and turns into a man, as he does whenever he's splashed with hot water. He turns back into his true male form. And Akane is like, oh, that's just my bestie in there showering. That's my girl bestie, Ranma. I can go shower with her, as besties do. So Akane walks into the shower, and lo and behold, there's a man in there. So she beats him up. She beats him up, and she runs out of there, and she goes, what the heck? What was that? Who's in there? And Genma has also turned back into a man now. He's not a panda anymore. And Son is like, ah, I see. You guys are cursed. Interesting. And so he's like, oh, well, it's great that Ranma's actually a boy. And Akane's like, what do you mean it's great? I just had to walk in on that man naked in my shower. I have been violated. And Ranma's like, well, you didn't knock. I didn't know you were coming in. I would have said don't come in if I heard you knock. It's just, no. It's not a solid couple months. Ranma and Akane know about the curse instantly in episode 1. Everybody knows about the curse. You're thinking of Shampoo. Ranma does not reveal his curse to Shampoo or Ukyo at the beginning. That's what you're thinking of. But Akane and the rest of the Tendo family instantly know about the curse day 1, episode 1. They know. So Son is like, well, it's a good thing you're a man. It means that you really can get engaged to one of my daughters. And Kasumi is like, he's too young for me. And Nabiki is like, yeah, me too. I mean, Akane, you're closest in age to him, so I guess that you should get engaged to him, right? And Akane's like, I don't want to get engaged to him. He's stinky and he's a man and I hate men. And they're like, well, too bad. So now Akane and Ranma are engaged. They're engaged. And this is the basis of the rest of the show from here on. Akane, Ranma hate each other. They really hate each other. Akane hates him because she thinks he's a weirdo and a creep, and he's weird. And Ranma hates her because she's headstrong, she's hot-headed, she's mean, she's always punching him and throwing tables at him. They just don't like each other. They're just not. They're not on the same page. They're not vibing, but they are indeed engaged. Antics ensue, hilarity ensues. There are many more people that come in, like Ranma's rival from middle school, Ryoga, who also fell into a spring of drowned pig. Ryoga turns into a little tiny baby piglet named Pichan whenever he gets wet. Here, wait, I'll show you. I have a picture of Pichan. Wait a minute! I've been preparing for this moment since my debut. Oh my goodness. I just have to find it. Where is it? Where's my picture? Where is it? Oh my god. Guys, it's me and Pichan. That's Pichan. That's Ryoga. That's Ryoga in his pig form. And that's me. Dressed as Ranma. From my debut. This is on my debut slides. So that's Ryoga. Ryoga was Ranma's middle school rival. They fought all the time, and Ryoga challenged Ranma to a big fight because Ranma took all of the bread in the cafeteria. The cafeteria was like, oh, we only have one more melon bread left, and Ranma was like, I want it. And they were like, we only have one more yakisoba bread left, and Ranma was like, I want it. And Ranma literally took every single bread from the cafeteria, every single last bread from the cafeteria. So Ryoga didn't have any bread, so he was like, we're gonna fight outside my house on Tuesday. And Ranma's like, okay. And mind you, it's literally right outside Ryoga's house. It's the lot behind Ryoga's house that they are gonna fight. And and Ranma waits out there for 3 whole days. Ryoga never shows up. Because Ryoga's whole thing is he is so directionally challenged. Somebody tells him to go straight. There's like a scene where he's like, do you know where Tokyo is? And this guy is like, yeah, just go straight down this road. And he's like, okay. He's like, you just go straight down that road for like 10 miles. And he's like, I will. And he starts walking and just walks in a completely, the road like curves a little bit. And instead of walking along the road, he just walks completely straight through the road barrier and like busts through the metal and walks into the forest and walks completely straight. He is very directionally challenged. He cannot get anywhere. So Ryoga never shows up to the fight, and then he chases Ranma all across the world, chases him to Jusenkyo, falls into a spring of drowned pig, and then chases him all the way to Tokyo, and finally finds him in Tokyo, and is like, you never showed up for our fight. And Ranma's like, I was there for 3 days. And he's like, yeah, and I showed up a week later, and you weren't there anymore. And he's like, how did you get lost? It was right behind your house. It was right behind your house. And Ryoga's like, no. Because Ryoga won't really admit that he's directionally challenged. He's a little bit in denial about that. Is Nano mad? Nano's not mad. Not cute though. But so Ryoga, you know, he's upset. So he's fighting Ranma. They're fighting, and he has this like really heavy umbrella, and his umbrella cuts off Akane's hair. So then she gets really short hair. But that's a story for another time. Basically, Ryoga turns into a pig. One day, Akane finds Ryoga in his pig form, and she's like, I'm gonna name you Pichan, and I'm gonna take you home, and you're gonna be my pet pig. And from that point on, Ryoga in pig form is Akane's pet pig, and Ryoga in human form is in love with Akane. And Akane, throughout the entire show, the whole thing, Akane never figures out that Ryoga and Pichan are the same. Never. So the entire show, the entire manga, she just has this pet pig that she sleeps with in her bed that is actually a 15-year-old boy that's in love with her. And she just has no clue. And there are many times where she should have figured it out, and she just doesn't. The pig form is probably in love. Well, the pig form is in love with her too. They do share the same mind. Additionally, there are 2 more people that fell into the spring that are important. There's a couple other people that fell into the spring, but there's only 2 more that are important. And that is Shampoo, who is a Chinese Amazon warrior. from a tribe of Amazonian women in China that Ranma fights in his girl form after he's fallen into the spring and beats her. He like fights and wins, and so Shampoo gives him the kiss of death, which basically means that she will travel to the ends of the earth to kill him because he has destroyed her honor by defeating her in a fight. And then when she finds him in his girl form, she tries to kill him, and he tries to explain to her, he's like, no, no, don't kill me. And then in his boy form, he also defeats her. He defeats her somehow in his boy form, and she gives him another kiss, and he's like, no, not the kiss of death again. And then they look it up and they realize that if a woman beats an Amazon warrior, then they have to kill them. But if a man beats an Amazon warrior, then that means that she has to marry him. So now he has two fiancés. He has Akane and Shampoo. But he doesn't like Shampoo like that, unfortunately. Even though Shampoo's gorgeous, she's the most beautiful woman in the world. I love Shampoo. But so then they try to explain to her, like, hey Shampoo, like Ranma is actually a boy and a girl, and they try to explain it to her. They finally get it through her head. She's really upset. She goes back to her village, and then when she comes back in cat form because she fell into the spring of drowned cat. So now she's a cat. And something about Ranma, one of his biggest traits in the whole show is Ranma has a deathly fear of cats. So now Shampoo is like in love with him and also a cat. And so anytime she's in cat form, he is just so freaked out. So freaked out because his dad, whenever he was in elementary school, locked him in a pit. He like tied him to a rope hanging from the ceiling of a pit filled with cats and tied a bunch of like sausages around him and like meats and stuff for the cats to come at him. So he is deeply traumatized by cats because his dad wanted to teach him the cat fist fighting style or the cat foo fighting style. So he traumatizes that poor little boy, and now Ranma forever is terrified of cats. And the only person that can calm him down from his fear of cats is Akane, because whenever he gets super scared of cats, he reverts into a cat himself. He gets on all fours and starts meowing. And whenever he gets like that, the only person that can get him out of that and bring him back to reality is Akane, because he jumps in her lap and she pets him on the head. It becomes normal again. It sounds really weird, but it's like actually really cute because it's like one of their few like really sweet moments where they don't hate each other. Because Akane is like so willing to just like let him lay in her lap and pet him, and it's so cute. It's so cute. Anyway, so Shampoo is now, whenever she gets splashed with cold water, she turns into a cat, and when warm water turns back into a girl. And her boy, she has a boy that loves her. His name is Moose. He's like obsessed with her. They're childhood friends. He wants to marry her. She does not like him. He follows her to Jusenkyo and falls into the spring of drowned duck. So whenever he gets splashed with cold water, he turns into a duck. And he's super nerdy, and he has really big glasses, and he can't see without them, and it opens up for a lot of jokes. So those are your five cursed spring people. You've got Genma, who's a panda, Ranma, who's a girl, Shampoo, who's a cat, Moose, who's a duck, and Ryoga, who's a pig. These are your five drowned characters. What would you transform into? I don't think I'd want to. It's super inconvenient. They always run into a lot of issues. I feel like the spring of drowned girl is probably the easiest one, just because, or like spring of drowned, there's also a spring of drowned man, I think, because that's what they're all chasing after. Ryoga, Moose, Genma and Ranma are constantly trying to get the water from the Spring of Drowned Man so that they can hopefully like revert the curse. But it never works. Spoiler. Can they talk in animal form? No, but Genma's the only one that really like communicates in animal form. So Shampoo, Moose, and Ryoga, in their animal forms, they all just kind of are that animal. They don't really communicate. But Genma, in his panda form, he actually stays in panda form more often than he's in his human form. And he gets a job at the local doctor's office. This doctor is in love with Kazumi, the oldest sister of the Tendos. He gets a job at a doctor's office in panda form, and he only ever works there as a panda. He gets hired as a panda. So like Genma, 9 times out of 10 is gonna be a panda. And he communicates as a panda with these like bamboo signs. He just like writes on them with the words. So most of his dialogue is actually written on bamboo signs, and he holds them up whenever he wants to talk to people. Which, like, that's pretty real. He's avoiding all confrontation and conversation by just being a panda. Living his little panda life. Sorry, I had to eat my food. Did you forget the guy riding bull, holding snake, and crane guy? No, I did not forget him. But he's not really important. That's Pantyhose Taro. Pantyhose Taro, fell into the spring of drowned, like, guy riding bull, holding snake, and crane. And whenever he gets splashed with cold water, he pretty much just turns into this, like, scary minotaur snake bird monster. Like, a minotaur with, like, a snake tail and wings or something. But he's not really important because he's only really in, like, 1 or 2 episodes. They have, like, a little arc where he, like, kidnaps Akane or something. But he's not important. You don't need to worry about him. But basically, this is your groundwork for Ranma. So the biggest thing about Ranma, and kind of why it's so popular today, is Ranma was actually a very early adopter of the harem anime in something that Rumiko Takahashi labeled as the love octagon for her 2 main characters, for Akane and Ranma. So whenever you see like anime with like a big harem, a lot of that is actually inspired by Ranma, because she famously really hated love triangles after writing about them in so many of her stories, like Kimagure Orange Road and Inuyasha. She like hated love. I think Inuyasha came after Ranma, but whatever. She hated love triangles. She was so tired of them. She was so bored of them. So she wrote a love octagon instead because she thought it would just be silly. And essentially, it's just Ranma has like pretty much all of the girls like Ranma and all of the boys like Akane. But also a lot of the boys like the girl version of Ranma. Like Kuno is in love with Kuno, the kendo captain. He's in love with Akane, and he's also in love with female Ranma. And he never pieces together that female Ranma and male Ranma are the same. That series did set a lot of tropes and genres. It was very influential. But yeah, so Kuno is in love with like Akane and female Ranma. Akane also has like this figure skater guy that's in love with her, and just a bunch of other people. There's a good amount of people that like Akane. There's always some sort of issue where in one episode like some man falls in love with Akane or tries to kidnap Akane, and Ranma has to be like, "You can't kidnap her. That's my fiance." And that's like his quote. Ranma's big quote is that he's like, "That's my fiance." And then afterwards, Akane's like, "I thought he hated me." And he's like, "I do. But you're still my fiance." They're both kind of tsunderes. But he's always running to save her from creepy men. I love hexadecagon, I guess? But then Ranma has Shampoo, who's in love with him. Oh, Akane also has Ryoga, who's in love with her. Ranma has Shampoo, who's in love with him. He also has Ukyo, who is an okonomiyaki chef who got engaged to Ranma whenever he was around 5 because they were childhood friends, they would play together all the time, and her dad ran an okonomiyaki cart, and Genma was like, if I let you marry my son Ranma, can I take your okonomiyaki cart? And her dad is like, you have a deal. So Genma is like, okay, Ranma, Ukyo, you're engaged now. And then that night, he leaves with the okonomiyaki cart and Ranma, and he's like, ah ha 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 ha, they're not gonna be engaged. I'm stealing Ranma and the okonomiyaki cart forever! And Ukyo is now bitter for the rest of her life. She's so upset because she was in love with Ranma whenever they were kids. But Ranma didn't know that Ukyo was a girl. Ranma just always assumed Ukyo was a boy because Ukyo wore pants and her hair in a ponytail. So he was just like, oh, obviously that's a boy, duh. I don't know why, don't ask. So Ukyo then comes to Furikan High School, and Ranma is like, oh my god, my childhood friend, Ukyo, it's so good to see you, dude. And Ukyo's like, you still think I'm a man? Whatever. So then Ukyo's pretending to be a man for a little bit, and then is like super mad at Ranma and trying to challenge Ranma, and then Ranma's like, what's the beef? And Ukyo's like, you freaking, we're supposed to marry me, and then you didn't. And Ranma's like, oh, I didn't know. And Ukyo's like, oh, word? Okay, I still love you. And Ranma's like, oh, I'm engaged. And she's like, I'll kill her. So now Ukyo hates Akane, loves Ranma. Ukyo, queen of the world, I love that girl. I think that she's so cool. I think she deserves so much better. In my personal opinion, I think that Ukyo and Ryoga should have gotten together. She's so cool. I love her. She also is one of the people that is in the know about Ranma's curse. So she knows that girl Ranma and boy Ranma are one and the same. But she is still an okonomiyaki chef, and she's more of a side character, but she pops in every now and then. And her and Ranma still buddies, but she's just so in love with him. So in love with him. Poor girl. Ukyo's outfit is so pretty, isn't it? I love Ukyo. I feel like Ukyo is just so cool. She's a great character. Great character. Ukyo and Shampoo are two of my faves. Then there's also this other girl. If you guys remember Kuno, the kendo captain, he has a sister named Kodachi, who is like this goth rhythmic gymnastics dancer who loves black roses. And she is also in love with boy Ranma and hates girl Ranma, and also hates Akane. So Kuno and Kodachi kind of share the same vibes. Kuno loves girl Ranma, hates boy Ranma, loves Akane. Kodachi loves boy Ranma, hates girl Ranma, hates Akane. So they're opposites of the same spectrum, and they're both yanderes. Yes, they're both yanderes. Kodachi is a psycho. She's crazy. She always has like poisoned roses. But she has like that Ojo-sama laugh. She has like, oh, laugh. So she slays. I give her a pass. Anybody with that laugh can do whatever they want. I don't care. Wait, I'm gonna take another bite. So, this is the basic plot of Ranma. I didn't imagine I would be talking about just the plot summary of Ranma for an hour, but that's okay. Crazy Girls are fun. Yeah, they never gave her any character growth. They give Shampoo and Ukyo a lot more character growth than they give Kodachi. But I guess Kodachi and Kuno kind of take a back seat to a lot of the plot. They're not in very much. They're like very, very much side characters. But those are your central characters. That's the plot of Ranma. And it's just really good. I totally forgot, but yeah, the Tendo Dojo is an anything goes martial arts style dojo. And anything goes martial arts literally means that. It's like you can do anything. So you can, anything goes martial arts can be throwing toilets at people. It can be kicking. It can be punching. It can be jumping. It can be rhythmic gymnastics. It can be doing little spins. It can be anything. It's literally no rules martial arts. But a lot of the fighting style outside of like the weirder stuff, like the simple like punches and kicks and everything, is very based on, I believe, the martial arts style Kempo, which is kind of like, it's very dancey. But yeah, a bit of a topic, Nano. Do you like martial arts in general? I'm very interested in it. I love like kung fu movies and martial arts movies and stuff. I love Ranma, obviously. I really liked the webtoon of God of High School, and I liked the animation, but I didn't like the story of the anime. But I like a lot of stuff about martial arts. I've tried to get into like watching MMA and stuff, but I just don't know enough about it. But I do like the general idea of martial arts, and I always wanted to do it. I talked about that in my Guilty Gear stream the other day. I always wanted to do martial arts, but I never was allowed. But I do like it. Yeah, it's like a little highlight. The anime version of God of High School is like a trailer for watching the webtoon. Or for reading the webtoon. Maybe I missed it, but do you have a favorite character? My favorite character is Nabiki. I love a mean girl. And you know, she's on that grind set mindset. She's money minded. She's always trying to con people. She will take pictures of Ranma and Akane. Ranma in girl form, and Akane obviously as a girl, just like around the house or sleeping or whatever, and sell them to all the boys at school. For like $100 a picture. So like take pictures of them like training or like at the beach or whatever, and just like she makes a lot of bank off of Kuno. And honestly, I'm one of the people that believes Kuno and Nabiki should be together. I think that they are the best couple in the world because she is mean and money minded, and he is like a little puppy dog and does whatever she wants. She knows how to make money. She's so smart. But she is evil. She's evil. But that's Ranma one half. And Kuno's bedroom is like filled with pictures of Ranma, female Ranma, and Akane that Ukyo takes, or not Ukyo, that Nabiki takes. Like he has like two giant, like not even life-size, like giant portraits of their faces of female Ranma and Akane, and then just like every other inch of his walls is just filled with pictures of them. He's like so scary. Have you seen her I'm a PC mock advertisement? I haven't. What? I don't think I've seen that. I don't know. But yes, I like Nabiki. I also do like Shampoo and Ukyo, and Akane, and Ranma. I like them all. The thing I didn't like about Nabiki is her hairstyle. You didn't like the bob? She's just got a pretty little bob. She's so cute. Kasumi has the dead mom hairstyle. She has the side pony. I like Nano. Nano is the best anime. I'm not an anime. I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl. I'm not an anime. I am not an anime. Oh, there's also, I can't believe I forgot this. There's two other central characters to the plot. There is Son, Mr. Tendo, and Genma's martial arts teacher, Haposai, who's like a teeny tiny 1 foot tall old man who steals women's bras and panties. He is a little creep. And he is evil and horrible and terrible, and he's just constantly doing terrible, awful, horrible things. He's a menace to society. He literally runs around town and just steals everyone's bras and panties. And is constantly trying to, like, be really creepy with Akane and female Ranma. Constantly trying to be creepy with female Ranma. He's a horrible, horrible man. Also, hi Faye! Yes, I'm red. I'm red today. But yeah, that's Haposai. He is Son and Genma's martial arts teacher, and he also does end up teaching Ranma and Akane also a lot of martial arts, because even though he's a little creep, he is a good martial artist. So he teaches them a lot of moves. And then Shampoo also has a grandmother who used to date Haposai, and she's also like 1 foot tall and super, super old, and her name is Cologne. But everybody just calls her Granny, or like, I think in the Japanese they call her Obasan or something. But she's named Cologne, and she also teaches them a lot of moves because she's a very talented martial artist as well. And I think she teaches Ranma most of his like big moves. Why is her name Shampoo? Because all of the Amazonian women have names like that, I think. No, it's not just that. It's like, cause Moose, her boy, is like that too. They're all hair product names. Cause yeah, or not hair products, but like beauty products. Cause there's Shampoo, Cologne, and Moose. I always forget that. But yeah, I think it's something to do with their tribe, maybe. But then her little sisters don't have that name either. I don't know. Whatever it is, that's just her name. It's spelled, it's supposed to be spelled like shampoo with a U instead of 2 O's. And then I think Cologne is like also spelled weird, but I don't remember. But that is the plot of Ranma 1/2. That's the middle of the episode song. It goes like kind of like how Full Metal Alchemist goes, Full Metal Alchemist, Full Metal Alchemist, in the middle of the episodes. Did I convince some of you guys to watch it? It's really good. That was a great explanation. Thank you. Thank you. No, you won't watch it? Okay, listen. It is sus. But that's, that's the point. It's really silly. It's like sus but really silly. You know? It's like really fun. It's really fun. What would the middle of your episode sound like? I got it. Are you ready? Navina Nova. That's the middle of my episode. And before manga is better. Honestly, I prefer the Ranma anime to the manga because I feel like the anime is like sillier. The manga takes itself a little bit more, like, not super seriously, but the manga takes itself a little bit more seriously because the anime, I think the visual gags are more fun. But the anime doesn't have a proper ending. The manga does actually end it. But yeah. Would you try to explain us your favorite episode? Okay, so this is perhaps, if there were a most sus episode of the anime, it would probably be this one. And I need you guys to promise that you will not look at me any differently after I say this. Have you watched Natsuki Crisis? I have not seen that, no. It's not like that bad. You know, I feel like I'm talking it up more and you guys are gonna be like, oh, that's not that bad. That's what I'm hoping that I'm thinking it's worse than it is. Hopefully. So, basically, basically, Haposai, the creepy old man, he's like in love with female Ranma, right? In like a really weird way. He's not really in love with female Ranma, he just likes looking at female Ranma because she, like I said, has really big boobs and like a really big butt too. So Haposai, you know, he just loves watching her sleep. And Ranma is like, dude, stop watching me sleep. I'm a man. This is so weird. And Haposai is like, it doesn't matter if you're a man because you look like a woman. So Haposai is like constantly going into Ranma's room and pouring cold water on Ranma and watching Ranma sleep, or like taking pictures of Ranma, or like doing really creepy things and just being all around really creepy, right? And one day, Haposai decides to do some little research. And he's like, I love female Ranma too much, and male Ranma won't let me see her ever. So he does some research to find a way to separate female Ranma and male Ranma from each other, so that he can have female Ranma all to himself. So he gets this like he gets this like thing that it's like a steam, it's like an aroma that separates female Ranma from male Ranma only at night. I'm choking. I'm choking. Oh my god. I'm choking. I can't. If you guys I'm like bright red right now. So he gets this aroma and separates them at nighttime. And Haposai is like, now female Ranma, you will be my girlfriend. And female Ranma's like, no, I will not. And Haposai's like, why not? And the female Ranma that is now supernaturally separated from male Ranma is like, and like punches Haposai or something. And then she starts like stealing all the energy from male Ranma, and they basically like male Ranma like he like falls under this spell because she's like almost like an energy vampire. She's like an evil spirit that's possessed Ranma and is like trying to like steal energy from her or from him, and so then she's like putting this curse on Ranma that's like making him like fall in love with the female version of himself. And it's really and I know that it sounds so sus, it's like male Ranma's like falling in love with like female Ranma, but it's not female Ranma, it's like an evil spirit that's possessing him. And like stealing all his energy until he becomes like a husk of himself. And I know that it sounds really bad and it sounds really sus, but I like that episode because at the end of it, it's really sweet because Akane saves the day. And like, and it's a really cute romantic moment between Akane and Ranma because she like saves him, and it's very sweet. She saves him from the creepy spirit that's trying to eat his soul. And and so it's really sweet because I like Akane and Ranma a lot because they're my favorite shit. Listen, I could have picked any episode, but I wanted to be honest. That was my favorite episode whenever I was a kid. I rewatched it all the time because I thought it was really sweet. Just the end of it. I do not recommend watching that because it is really awkward. It's like not that bad. Like they don't do anything like bad. I don't think. There's like nothing that bad in it. It's not that bad. There's another episode that I like that's a lot less sus though that I can explain to you if you wanted, if it'll make you feel better. Don't quit! Don't quit! It's not that bad! It's not that bad! So this is another Hopposai being weird episode. If I watch this anime and see the episode, I'll be reminded that you like this episode the best. Ah! Now I'm regretting recommending it. Don't watch the show actually. Don't watch it. So this episode. Hopposai is so excited. He's gonna eat this delicious soba that's gonna make him super strong. And he's like, I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this all year. How many episodes are there? Like, I feel like 200 or something. It's pretty long. But he's so excited. He's been waiting for the soba all year. He's so happy. He's like, yeah, soba! Yeah! And he makes this soba, and it's gonna make him feel strong and rejuvenated and tough. And he's gonna be able to beat everybody up because everybody's been being so mean to him. Because everybody's saying, Hopposai, you can't steal people's panties. Hopposai, you can't be creepy to women. Hopposai, you're just a weird little old man. And Ranma keeps beating Hopposai up. And Hopposai is sick of it. So he's gonna eat this soba that's gonna make him super strong, right? But he doesn't end up eating the soba. On accident, Akane ends up eating the soba. So she eats the super soba that makes her super strong. Gah! And she's so excited because, you know, Ranma also keeps beating her at battles and keeps winning over her. And she's really upset about it. So she takes this super soba on accident. And I don't think she knows that she took a super soba. I don't think she knows that she took the... like what it was that she ate, because she just thinks that all of a sudden everybody else has gotten really weak. So all of a sudden she's beating all of these super muscly men in arm wrestling contests, and she enters this wrestling competition, or it's like a ping pong competition or something, but with like giant ping pong paddles. I think it's like really weird. I don't remember exactly what it was. Or maybe it was badminton, I don't know. But she's like super strong, so now she's like fighting everybody and winning, and Ranma is like, no, Akane, you have to take this antidote. And she's like, you're just mad that I'm stronger than you now. I don't need any antidote. And he's like, no, you have to, because Hopposai tells Ranma something. He says that super soba can only be eaten by men because it has some sort of something, vitamin or something in it, poison, I don't know, in it, that whenever a woman takes it, she grows whiskers, a mustache. She grows a mustache. And they're like, she has to take the antidote, or she'll have a mustache and she'll turn into a man forever, or something like that. And Ranma's like, no. So he's like, Akane, please take the antidote. And she's like, no, I don't want to. I don't want the antidote. It's like, please. And then she's like, well, fight me, and if you win, then I'll take it, but if I win, then you just have to admit that I didn't take anything wrong, I'm just super strong now. And he's like, fine. And so they fight, and then halfway through the fight, she feels her whiskers growing, and she freaks out, and she goes, ah, oh no, and then she runs away and cries, and she runs up into a tree. And Ranma's like, Akane, and he chases her up the tree, and he finds her, and he sits up there with her. And she's like, don't look at me. And he's like, it's okay. And she takes her hands away, and she has little whiskers. And she looks so cute because they just look like little cat whiskers. and he's like, I have the antidote for you. And she's like, oh, thank you. And then she takes the antidote, and then they hug. And then he almost says he loves her. And then he doesn't, because then a bunch of other people pop out of the tree. And they're like, hi. But it's really cute. And they hug. And it's a really sweet moment. It's a really sweet episode, because she's just like, she doesn't know. It's very sweet. I think my fave episode is when Ranma learned Lion's Pride attack to beat Ryoga, and then Ryoga learned a Despair attack to beat... That's a good episode. All of the episodes where they learn moves are really good. There's one that is really good where Ranma's learning, is it Chestnuts Over an Open Fire? I think that's what it's called in English, but what's it called in Japanese? Chestnuts Over an Open Fire Ranma. It's like something really silly like that. What is it? Okay, yeah, it's chestnuts roasting on an open fire fist, but in Japanese it's katsu tenshin amaguriken. And it's like this really fast move, and it's basically supposed to be like you could throw all of these chestnuts into a fire and then grab all of them out without burning your hands. So you have to like do like a bunch of like punches in succession. And like Cologne is trying to teach Ranma how to do it, and Ranma's not learning, and like it's not working, and so Cologne gives him this like does like this thing or something, like this pressure point thing that gives him the full body cat tongue, so that whenever he touches even cold water, it feels so hot. So he's stuck in his girl form, so that he's super sensitive to touch, so that he'll learn how to do the move better. And that's a really interesting episode. All of the move episodes are really interesting because there's always like something that they do to Ranma that like makes him like, what's the word, like renders something about him like useless, so that he has to like learn how to overcome it and then get really strong. And it's really interesting, and that's a really fun move. So that's your favorite move? I think so. There's also, he has another one that's really good, I don't remember. I think my favorite move of the whole show though is Ryoga's Byakusai Tenketsu. I don't remember what it is in English, but he can like pressure point on rocks and like explode them, and that one's really cool. There's a lot of like really cool moves. Like all of the martial arts moves that are like actual moves that they use in the show are really interesting and cool, and they all have like episodes dedicated to learning them. That's really interesting and fun. That reminds you that it's not just a comedy, it is also action. But basically, Ranma is the best. I don't know what else to say. It's just the best. It's just so good. I just love it. I don't know what else to talk about Ranma though. I can talk about something else. I'm trying to think though. I'm trying to pull from my brain space. I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? You are so silly. I'm not silly. I just am. Live, laugh, love. Did you read any fan fiction for Ranma? I did. I never really read much fan fiction for anything. I think I tried to read when was it? I think it was Yuno and Reina Senpai when they read My Immortal. I tried to read along with that, and I think that was the first fan fiction I ever read. Was that your first harem anime that you watched? I think so. That was actually one of my first anime ever. I watched it with my mom. So I watched Sailor Moon, and then whenever I was like 4 or 5, and then I watched Cardcaptor Sakura around the same time. And then after I finished both of those, my mom was like, we shall watch something even better than both of these. And I was like, what is it? And it was Ranma. And my dad would always be like, why are you guys watching this? I was like 6. I was far too young to be watching Ranma. But but my stepmom was like, it's okay, it's fine. And my dad was like, okay. There was one fanfic I read that actually had Nabiki become strong enough to take over the dojo and marry Ranma. Interesting. I don't know if I'd like that. I don't know. I'm a Ranma and Akane fan. I think the first harem I watched was Love Hina. I watched Love Hina a little bit later. I waited a while for that one because my mom was like, you're not old enough to watch Love Hina yet. Which, real. But also, I had already watched Ranma, and I feel like Love Hina's not that much worse. But I watched Love Hina a little bit later, and that one really stuck with me. Like, I love Love Hina so much. I think that show is so silly and goofy. And it's definitely one of my favorite harems. I don't like harem anime anymore. I like older style harem anime a lot more, where like, yes, it was like a harem, but like it was mainly just about like the main guy and the main girl, and then the other girls in the harem were like still interesting outside of the romance aspect. Like they still had like character traits and you still liked them, but you didn't like them just because you wanted them to end up with the guy. And I feel like in harem anime nowadays, it's more so like most of the characters' defining character trait is just like they are in the harem and they like the guy, and so it's not very interesting to me anymore because I wanted to like the characters. But yeah. Out of curiosity, do you even like recent? I do. I like recent anime a lot. I watch a lot more shoujo now. I'm much more like of a fan of older shonen and then newer shoujo, I guess. But I also like older shoujo too. I like the older stuff a lot, but I do like new anime. I like Free Run a lot. I've been watching Dr. Elise a lot, which is really good. That's coming out right now, and Seventh Time Loop, and Villainous Level 999. I like Villainous anime a lot. I really, really like Villainous anime. And then I like Black Clover a lot. I really like Black Clover. Also, I did watch Shuffle. I like Shuffle. I like the opening for that one. But yeah, I'm just, I don't know. I guess there's certain anime nowadays. I guess there's more anime nowadays that I can't get behind versus like older anime. Maybe it's just because that's all I watched when I was younger, and whenever I was younger, like any anime that I watched I liked, even if it wasn't good, because I was at that point where just like everything was so new, it was such a new genre that I could just consume anything and like it. And I guess now that I'm a little bit older and my tastes are more like quote unquote refined, I'm like more so in that stage of like I just want to watch something that I know I'm gonna like, so I'm more picky. But I do still like recent anime. I'm also just more of a manga reader nowadays though, because I don't have enough time for anime. Did you watch the new Gundam show? I did. I watched Witch from Mercury. I loved it. I watch all of the Gundam stuff. I try to keep up on that a lot. You know who else in Kawaii likes or knows Black Clover? Lua. I did know that. I did know that. But yeah, like newer shows, there's just a lot. I feel like it's so, it's like a double-edged sword, I guess is the right word, where there's so much now. Like there's so much more anime now than there ever used to be. So there's a lot of really good stuff, but then there's a lot of really bad stuff too, because it's just so oversaturated, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think it is a good thing at the end of the day, because it means that, you know, anime is more mainstream, it's more accessible, and there's so much of it, and there's some really, really amazing stories in there. But then there's also the double-edged sword of like, there's some really, really bad stuff in there too. Like you have like all of the isekai anime, like the In Another World with My Smartphone and stuff like that I just can't get behind. Oh, but I did like Slime. I liked Slime, that isekai. I watched the first 2 seasons of that and I loved it, but I never end up having time to watch any more of that. I don't know, does it have more than 2 seasons? I'm sure it does. But I liked that one a whole lot. I also really liked, what's another anime I liked Dr. Stone a lot. I liked the first season of Dr. Stone, but I didn't watch any further than that. Anime is just one of those things nowadays. Now I have like, you know, I have more responsibilities. I have more stuff on my plate, so I just don't have time to like sit down and like watch anime. I wish I did, but that's why a lot of my taste is older, because it's just the stuff I watched as a kid. Season 3 is next season, I think. Oh, okay. Okay, then I'm caught up. That's good. You should keep watching Dr. Stone. The latest season is insane. Okay, I will. Cause I really, really liked all of the like sciencey stuff in Dr. Stone. I thought it was so fun and interesting. I love stuff like that. I obviously watched Sailor Moon Crystal and like Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card, and I watched the Fruits Basket remake because I had to. And then I'm trying to think like of what recent stuff I really, really watched. I watched Yamada-kun, the level 99 Yamada-kun, or whatever, the shoujo that came out recently. And I watched Horimiya, obvious. I feel like everybody watched Horimiya though. I try to watch about an episode of anime per day. See, I used to do that, and now I just like read a bunch of manga instead, because I can read like 40 chapters of manga in the same amount of time that I would read, or in the same amount of time that I would watch like 1 or 2 episodes of anime. Did you watch Odd Taxi? I did watch Odd Taxi. I liked it a lot. I also watched Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I really liked that one. I watched Spy Family. I watch a lot of that stuff. Tell us about some manga. I can, but I don't know if you guys are gonna like it. Most of the manga that I read is like, it's like shoujo, isekai villainous, manhwa, like it's super romancy and like really cliche. So I feel like you guys won't enjoy it. Have you seen Danger in My Heart? I have not seen that. I love the villainous stuff. I love it. Like one that I'm reading right now. Let's see. What's a really good one that I just... Oh! One that's really good. It's less romance-y than it is like... It's very like political fantasy intrigue vibes. It's really, really good. It's called A Stepmother's Martian. Or I think the alternate title is Fantasies of a Stepmother. And it's this girl named Shuri. And when she was 15, so she like grew up in a really poor area. And when she was 15, this like 40-year-old nobleman came to her area and was like, "You will be my wife now." And she's like, okay. And he'd already been married once before, and he had 4 children with his previous wife, and she passed away. So he brings Shuri to his what is he? Is he a Marquess? I think he's a Marquess or Marquis. I don't know how to say it. But he brings her to his home, his mansion, his castle, whatever. And he's like, I am dying. You will learn how to be the mother of my children. And she's like 15. And he's like, you, and yeah. Marquis? Okay. So yeah, he basically trains her to be a parent to his kids for whenever he passes away, because he wants somebody to be able to watch after them for whenever he's gone and be able to like keep the house running, because he needs to marry off his son. He needs his son to get to marriageable age and then be married off so that his son can take over the house, but that's going to take a couple of years and he's going to pass away, and he doesn't trust any of his relatives to do it. Yeah, she's 15. She's super young. But they never do anything. He's mostly respectful to her. He's like mean to her. He yells at her all the time, but he never does anything like creepy to her. And so he like trains her to be a mom, and then he dies like a year later, and now she's 16 and has all of these children, these 4 children. So there's 2 twins that are like 6 or 7, I think, and then there's a middle child who's a boy who's like 14, and then there's the oldest son who is a year younger than her. He's 15, right? So she has to learn how to be like a parent to them, but she decides that the best way to parent these kids is to just let them live their lives and not bother them. So she never bothers them, but she does her best to, you know, protect them from crazy people and make sure that they live. And then she gets the oldest son to marriageable age, marries him off to the girl that the dad wanted him to be married to, and then just disappears from their lives. Just like fully leaves and does not contact any of them. And that's her plan. But whenever the oldest son is gonna get married, she gets a letter that says that he doesn't want her to come to the wedding because he hates her, because she was never a good stepmother to them, and she was evil and horrible, and they hate her and they don't want her to come to the wedding. So she's like, oh man. So she's really sad because she really does care for the kids, but she's like, it's okay, like this will be better for them. So she leaves. She flees to go live her own life with her remaining wealth and just live a quiet life. And on her way to her new home, her carriage gets ambushed and she's assassinated. And she's like, blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna die. No, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. I don't want to die. And her life flashes before her eyes, and she remembers her ex-husband, or I guess widowed husband, who told her to, you know, look after the family. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I won't be able to look after them anymore. But at least I got the oldest married off before I could pass. I hope you're proud of me. And then she dies. And then she wakes up in her 15 or 16-year-old self. I think 16-year-old self. Like right after her husband has died, she awakens. And she's transmigrated back to the past. Or I guess, what's the word? Yeah, she's gone back into her past self. And she transgressed? I think transgressed is the right word. I don't know. Regression, yeah. So she's woken up into the body of her 60-year-old self right after her husband has died. And she realizes that this is not a dream, and this is her chance, that something must have gone wrong, there must have been something bad that happened, and she has to fix it. So she decides that she is not going to live her life the way that she originally did, and this time, she's going to live her life being in their lives, because in that note that she got from the oldest son that was like, don't come to my wedding, he was like, you were never part of our lives and we'll resent you for that forever. And so she's like, okay, well, I'll be part of their lives now. I'll do it. I'll be their mom. And so she starts getting really, really close with the 4 kids and really trying to be a mother for them. And for the older 2, for the 2 oldest sons, the 14-year-old and the 15-year-old, they're both like, this is so awkward, this is so weird, like, she's our age, this is really weird. But eventually they do, like, grow to really appreciate her as, like, an older sister. And then the 2 youngest, the 2 twins, actually really do think of her as, like, a mother figure. And so she really starts this, like, beautiful, happy family with them. But the but is that in this world, there's a lot of political turmoil with all the houses. The houses don't want, so she's trying to, like, now she's trying to use her power a little bit more, and instead of just, like, leaving everything up to their attendants, she wants to really be involved in the household affairs and really act as the marquis of the house. And so she starts getting really involved in it, and she joins the parliament of the country, and she starts really trying to, like, be involved in the politics and really take care of this house more than she was in her previous life. But everybody doesn't like that because they're like, you're a woman, you can't take over your husband's house like this. And she's like, well, who else is gonna do it? My kids are too young, take it or leave it. And they're like, okay, girl boss, you do you. They don't give up that easily, but the Empress is on her side, and the Duchess of one of the other houses is on her side, and so she's able to really, like, gain some weight in her argument and take care of the politics of their house. And she starts getting really involved, and then she realizes that the church in this world is, like, super, super corrupt, right? And so she's like, now she's trying to figure out what's going on with the church, and the church is trying to, like, take power from her and her house and from her oldest son, and so she has to figure all that out. And it's really, really interesting, and there's lots of political intrigue. And the son of the Duke is her love interest, the son of the Duke and the Duchess that are on her side. His name is Nora, and he really loves her, and they are love interests. But the romance is, like, really takes a back step to all of the, like, political intrigue of it. Because most of it is about her, like, trying to figure out, like, what all of the secrets that are being hidden are, and what's going on with the church, and the church is, like, trying to take power from, like, the emperor, and it's all this stuff, and she's trying to, like, basically, like, fix the world government while also trying to raise her while also trying to raise her family. So it's really sweet. Have you read Tower of God or Solo Leveling? I've read Solo Leveling, most of it, and I read the first, like, season on Webtoon of Tower of God, and then I kind of got bored of it. I don't know, like, I tried to like it, and I don't know, I couldn't get into it. But I liked Solo Leveling. I think I read up until, like, most of it was concluded. I just didn't really read any of, like, the epilogue-y stuff. Have you read Gantz? I have not read Gantz, but I feel like I remember... What's the opening song to Gantz? I feel like that sounds... memorable. Gantz opening. Let's see. Okay, you guys can't hear it, right? I don't think so. I don't know this. Why did I think I knew it? No, I've never seen this. Maybe I think I'm thinking of Gangster. I've never read Gantz or seen it. It seemed familiar, but not too. Not as much as I thought. You like Solo Leveling? I do like Solo Leveling. I really like action. And I like Webtoon and manhwa style a lot. I like the style of like the continuous scroll, and I like all of the colored panels. I think it's really pretty. And I enjoy reading it. I think it's an easier read to me a lot of the time. I noticed in all your comments so far a distinct lack of horror stories. I'm not a horror fan. I try. I want to. I like horror movies-ish, but not really. Have you read Magus? Yeah, I like the Ancient Magus Library. I like that one a lot. That's a good shoujo. I love shoujo. I used to cosplay the main girl from that. I can't remember her name, but like her little like red hair and like schoolgirl outfit with the little necklace. I cosplayed that. I like her a lot. You and my mom will get along. Can you give us an example of horror movies you like? I like silly horror movies. Like I like Scream a lot. Scream is my favorite horror movie ever. I watch it every Halloween. I like, let's see. I like Poltergeist. I like Alien a lot. I actually really like that movie. I like Predator. This is not helping the boomer allegations, I'm realizing. These are all really old. These are all really old movies. I liked X and Pearl. I liked both of those. Those are more recent. Have you seen Ginger Snaps? No, I have not. No, I have not. Are you excited for the new Alien movie coming up? Yes. I would not call Forrest Gump a horror movie, but I like it. Life is like a box of chocolates. But I don't know. I guess I just like older horror movies. Oh, I like Cabin in the Woods. I like Cabin in the Woods a lot. I think you're getting confused with Ancient Magus Bride. Oh, then I don't know what Magus of the Library is. Wait, let me look this up. Magus of the Library. I don't know if I recognize this. Oh, I don't know this. I'm so sorry. I got it confused. No, I don't know this. It looks pretty though. Wait, this art is so pretty. I'm gonna add this to my reading list. This looks good. I don't think I've ever met anyone who didn't like Cabin in the Woods. Cabin in the Woods is just really good. That's a great movie. That's a very, very fun movie. I'm trying to think of other movies that I like. I love movies, but like, I don't know. I don't know. I always wanted to be into horror movies. Like my dream was to be like a scream queen. So I try to watch a lot of horror movies and like get into them, but they're very, very difficult for me. I don't know, Saw includes as horror, but I love it. I like Saw. I liked the first one, but I didn't really watch it so much as listen to it. Oh, my favorite horror movie. How could I forget? I absolutely love Paranormal Activity. I love all of the Paranormal Activity movies. Mainly the first two, but I do like the rest of them. I think the first two and then the most recent one are the ones that I like the most. I freaking love Paranormal Activity. I love it so much. If we make fan art, where do we post it? Oh, I have a fan art tag on Twitter for called Telenavi. I think it might be in my description, my live description. Let me check. I think maybe it is. It is, yeah. If you go to the description of the live stream, you can scroll down and see my tags. It's the Telenavi one on Twitter. Yeah. Have you watched or have you heard or watched REC? I don't think so. Not that I can remember. I'm not gonna lie, I actually did really like the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. The latest one I think is the one with the students. Yeah, I think so. Quarantine is the English version of REC. I don't think I recognize that. I don't think so. Not that I can remember. Found footage Spaniard horror movie. Oh, interesting. I do like found footage stuff. I almost said Scarlet Witch. That's not it. What is it? The witch. Oh my gosh. What am I? Blair Witch. Thank you. Thank you. I'm like really blanking. Oh, I love the Cloverfield movies also. I really like I like the original Cloverfield. And then what 10 Cloverfield Lane. I liked both of those movies a lot. A lot. All of the horror movies that I like aren't so much like horror movies as they are just like sort of spooky movies. I have not seen District 9. I'm not familiar with that one. Not familiar with that. Do you like any of the Friday the 13th movies or Nightmare on Elm Street? I watched the first one of both of those. I've seen the first movie of both of those and I liked them. Nightmare on Elm Street gave me nightmares for a good like 3 weeks. I think I watched it in like high school or something and it freaked me out. But I did like it. I did like it. Sorry, I had to take another bite of my mott stick. Have you watched all The Conjuring and all those related movies like Annabelle? I watched the first Conjuring movie, and I didn't really like it. I don't know, there's just some, like, I thought it was fine, but I didn't like it enough to, like, watch any of the other ones. I tried to watch Annabelle, and I just couldn't really get into it. I don't know. Like, it was just one of those that I was like, this is spooky and there's a lot of jump scares, but the story I don't like enough to continue watching it. Like, a horror movie has to have like a really good story for me to be able to watch it. Otherwise, I feel like I'm just getting scared for no reason. Have you seen The Thing? I have seen The Thing. I like that movie a lot. That movie's freaking scary though. Have you ever read Junji Ito mangas? I tried to read my friend had a copy of the Junji Ito collection. I tried really hard to read it and I couldn't. I think the only one that I could stomach even mildly was Tomi or Tomie. I could kind of read that one, but it was still spooky. I'm not very good with like gore at all. Like I struggle a lot with blood and like gore and like heavy imagery because I have hemophobia, which is a fear of blood. Which is really, what's the word? Unfortunate. but I don't know. I try. Have you read Blame? I have not read Blame. I have not. Psychological horror is a thing too. I like psychological horror. I would say is probably what I'm better with. Like I really liked It Follows. I thought that one was so spooky. I think that is like a really super spooky movie. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. Hope you're not as bad as the people that see blood and instantly pass out. I used to be, but I went to therapy. And now I don't pass out, but I do get a little like ill. I get a little sick. Hannibal Feather, It Follows was a fun one. So when I see your name, I am reminded that I love Hannibal. Which like sounds really like weird whenever I'm just now talking about my hemophobia and how much I hate gore, yeah, but I really oh my god. Okay. Spookiest thing in the world is not an ending screen. Aw. But I loved the Hannibal TV show with Mads Mikkelsen, I think, and what's his name? I liked that TV show a lot. I watched Silence of the Lambs. I liked that movie, but I liked the TV show more. I think just because the TV show, I was able to like look away for a lot of the gory scenes. I watched it with my dad, and it was a show that he had watched a bunch of times, and so he was like, every time there was like a spooky scene, he like had it memorized when they would pop up. So he would be like, "Oh no, look away, look away, look away." So I actually didn't have to watch any of the gory scenes from Hannibal, the TV show, and it was perfect. It was amazing. It was the best show I'd ever seen. The sequel to Silence of the Lambs really ramped up the gore. Blah. I don't think I could watch it. Sounds like you won't like vampire movies. I like Interview with a Vampire. I like that movie, and I liked the movie version of What We Do in the Shadows. And then I liked the TV show of that too. But those are a very different kind of vampire. Haven't actually been able to finish Hannibal. It didn't grab me as well. Really? I liked it a lot, but I liked the dynamic between Will and Hannibal a lot. If you like psychological horror, you might love Midsummer. I did watch Midsummer. I went to go see that in theaters with my best friend, and she loved it, and I liked it, but it was a lot. It was a lot for me. Hereditary, I did not like. I tried to watch it. It creeped me out too much. It made me feel really sick. I didn't like it. Both of those movies, I think, were a lot for me. Oh, I liked the Babadook. I thought that was a pretty good movie. I thought that one was just like, it kind of had like a sweet ending. It was just like they learned to live with the Babadook. You know, they figure it out. He's like a little pet. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a spoiler. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I feel evil. I've just spoiled a whole movie. Do you like any of the classic Universal or Hammer horror movies? I don't know what those are. No, welcome in, welcome in. I'm so sorry for spoiling the Babadook for you guys. I mean, that movie came out a long time ago, but still. It feels mean. It feels mean. Oh my goodness, the other day, so I've been tweeting about books a lot recently, right? And I've been tweeting about books recently, and my manager texted me. I think it was like, was it last night when I finished my book? Or was it the night before? Let me see. Yeah, it was last night. My manager texted me, and she was like, Nano, you're tweeting a lot about books. Do you want to just do book review streams? She was like, Nano, you're allowed to talk about these things on stream. You don't have to just tweet about them. I was like, oh. She's like, you're tweeting all the time about all these books you read, and you never stream about them. And I got, okay, so like, on the one hand, I would absolutely love to talk about the books that I read with you guys, and I would love to do book review streams, and I think it would be so fun. And on the other hand, I'm so embarrassed by the books because like the manga that I read, you know, I read a lot of stuff. Like I read One Piece, I read Black Clover, I read JJK, I read Hell's Paradise, and I also read shoujo, and I read a lot of like political intrigue manga, and I read isekai, and I read like a whole bunch of different kinds of manga. But when it comes to books, I mainly read like fantasy romance books that are like about like magic and dragons and kings and queens and princesses, but also have like a lot of romance in them. And the book that I just finished reading had a lot of romance in it. Like it was very like, you know, like dragons and magic and monsters and all sorts of cool stuff. But it is so much romance, and I get really embarrassed by it. Like when I go to the library to pick out books, I always like try to go whenever like nobody's there, and I'm always like looking around because I don't want people to see it. I love Lord of the Rings. It's like the books that I read are like Lord of the Rings if they had a female main character who has an enemies to lovers relationship. I just it's like I'm getting like red talking about it. Like I get so embarrassed. I get so embarrassed. I don't want to. Okay, well the one I'm reading right now isn't that bad. Okay, because like sometimes they're like embarrassed. Like it's like romance in like, you know, I don't want to say it, but like there's like embarrassing scenes in it. I don't want to talk about it. That's too embarrassing. It's like it's not that bad. It's not that bad. But like there are certain, you know, like it's I can't. You know, it's like it's a little bit more than hand holding. I get it's not that bad. Like, it's nowhere near as bad as the, you know, hand-holding scenes in something like Song of Ice and Fire. Like, it's nowhere near as much as that. But, like, even if there's just, like, one scene like that in a book, I get so embarrassed and I can't talk about it. Like, one of my friends saw me tweeting about it, and she was like, oh, what book are you reading? And this is a friend that I'm very, very close with, and I talk about a lot, like, I talk about a lot with her, and we talk about, you know, all of the manga we read and the anime. And when she asked me this book, I was like, I cannot tell you, it's so embarrassing. And I told her, and she was like, there's only one spicy scene in that. It's not that bad. But, like, it gets me so embarrassed for people to know that I read stuff like that. Even though that's not what I'm reading it for. Like, I'm reading it for the magic and the dragons and everything, but, like, it's still so embarrassing. Like, it took me years to admit that I had read Song of Ice and Fire because I was so embarrassed that it had scenes in it. It made me so embarrassed, even though, like, that's a book series that, like, everybody reads. Like, everybody knows Game of Thrones. But, like, it's so embarrassing to me, and I don't know why. I don't know why. It, like, freaks me out. It freaks me out. Even, yeah, like, Song of Ice and Fire, like, truly, I could not tell people that I read it because I would get so red in the face. Like, whenever somebody asked me, like, I would be, like, in a, like, talking with my friends, like, on a call or something, and I'm reading, and I'm, like, getting really into the book, and they're like, oh, no, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm reading, and they're like, what are you reading? And I'm like, nothing. Like, it just gets me so embarrassed. I'm not a delicate flower, I just don't want people knowing that I'm reading stuff like that. Even if it's not that bad, like, it still just freaks me out. I love Dune. I actually, so Dune is my dad's favorite book series of all time. He has a bunch of, like, Dune tattoos, and he's a big Dune super fan. He's been a Dune super fan for many, many years. And so when the movies came out, he was like, these movies are not book accurate. He doesn't hate them, but, like, he was like, I like the books better. And I was like, oh, should I just read the books? Because I was just gonna watch the movies.
Yeah,
and he was
listen.
like, ah! Oh my god. So scary, so scary, so scary. What was this? What was this? I don't have my Streamlabs open. Thank you, Gary. I hope you see the contradiction of fangirling about a sus anime as a Ranma but getting shy about books. I feel like it's just worse when it comes to books. I don't know why. Because it's, like, all detailed. Oh, but my dad was like, if you really want to get into Dune, just read the books. You can watch the movies too, but read the books. So I was like, okay. So I've just finished reading the first Dune book. I'm gonna read the second one pretty soon. I have it, like, on order at the library, but now everybody's watching all the movies, so the book is like, everybody wants to read the books. Nobody cared about Dune before the movies came out, me included, to my dad's dismay. But yeah, I've watched the movies, but I want to read the books to, like, actually understand it. And I kind of agree with him after reading the first book. I feel like the movies do a really good job at making Dune, like, making it make sense for, like, a wider audience. And I feel like he does a good job at adapting them, but I do feel like I understand a lot more of what's going on after reading the book. Like, I feel like the movie is a really good, like, this is Dune. Like, this is the overarching plot of Dune. And the books do a really good job of, if you like the movie, read the books and get more. That's, like, that's how I feel about it. Fun fact, did you know there was gonna be a Dune movie back in the 70s? I did not know that. I knew that there was a movie with, what's that guy's name? From Twin Peaks? From, like, the 90s, I think? I've seen that movie. But yeah, the books are really, really good. But I do like the movies too. I don't think my dad, like, hates the movies or anything. He's a big fan of the books. You definitely recommend me getting the book if you like the movies, I think that you will like the books. If you didn't like the movies, you will not like the books. Unless your issue with the movies was that they didn't give you enough information. Like, if you watched the movie and you were like, I didn't like it, I felt like I didn't have enough exposition, read the books. But if you watched the movie and you were like, that was weird, I didn't like it, you will hate the books. Because the books are even weirder. You watched Dune 2 3 times? You will definitely like the books then, I think. Definitely. Yeah, if you want more context and, like, you just want more information, the books are really good. The movie just kind of gives you... I feel like the movie, like, takes the important parts. Have you seen Blade Runner? Of course I've seen Blade Runner. Who hasn't? Don't get me started on the all-knowing toddler. There's only so much you can fit into a feature-length movie. Yeah, exactly. Like, the movies take out a lot of the important bits that you definitely need for the movie. And then the books, I feel like that's what I like about it, is I don't want a movie that's just an exact copy of the books, because then I feel like, what's the point of reading the book? Whereas if a movie just, like, takes out, like, bits of the book and, like, still makes it make sense, then it makes it so, like, you can watch the movie and then you like it, and then you have a reason to go back and read the books. So yeah. I'm also just a big reading fan though, so like I don't like whenever people are like, oh, well, I read the books, I already watched the movie, I already know what's going on. Which Ryan Gosling do you consider literally me? I like the Ryan Gosling from Crazy Stupid Love. Backstory for the Harkonnen: Atreides beef was so significant for why Paul's family was on Arrakis in the first place. Yes, very much so. My dad would be like kicking his feet and giggling that we're talking about Dune on stream. He'd be like, oh, my daughter's so cool, I raised her so well. Kicking his feet, giggling, twirling his hair. All I know about Dune is the funny popcorn. No! Not the popcorn bucket! No, 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 no! No, 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 no! I wonder why that Ryan Gosling? I don't think I'm actually any Ryan Gosling. I just like Crazy Stupid Love. I just think it's a good movie. Or La La Land. I like all the romantic Ryan Gosling movies. Or The Notebook. Oh, I love The Notebook. It's such a good movie. But yeah, so with books, like, I saw somebody mention like going to the library was very boomer. I don't think it's boomer. I just think it's like, I don't know. I think it's the right thing to do, because I don't, especially with books that I don't know anything about. I don't want to spend like $20 on a book and then get it and then read it and then I hate it. Whereas if I go to the library, I can just check out the book and read the first couple chapters. If I don't like it, I can just return it and get a new book, which I prefer a lot. And I like, you know, I like getting out of the house for more than just like work and groceries and stuff, and like being able to like go and do something and interact with humans. Kindle versions are pretty cheap. That's true. I don't have a Kindle though. I don't have a Kindle. Would you ever like to write your own story? So that is something that I've always been a very bookish person. I've always liked books. And when I was a kid, I wrote a lot of quote-unquote books. Like from whenever I was like 7 up to like 12 or 13. And none of them are finished, obviously. And they're all like really short, and they're all in my Google Docs still. And I thought it could be a really fun stream to read all of the books that Baby Nano wrote. If you guys were interested. I thought it could be they're really cringy. And like I said, some of these I wrote whenever I was like 7 or 8. Like, some of these are really bad. They're all really bad, actually. They're all awful. But I think it could be an interesting stream, maybe? To go through my childhood author collection. It will be very embarrassing for me, but I've looked through all of them, and like, it's not too bad. It's just gonna be really cringy. But like, some of them are really funny. Like, I was going through it with my mom the other day, and we were reading them because I would like print them out and like give them to my parents. I would like run around the house with like a little messenger bag, and I would like print out my books, and I would like run around and I'd be like, mail delivery, and I would deliver them to like my parents and my older brother and stuff, and I'd be like, read my book. And she kept like everything that I gave her and like kept it all in a folder, and then I also have it all in my like Google still. And we were going through it whenever I was like over for I think like Christmas or something. We were going through all of it, and I was like, oh, these are really funny. These would be really fun to do like on a stream or something. So I've like saved them all into a folder now, so they're all easily accessible, and I've like gone through them all and made sure there's nothing like crazy in them. But I thought it could be interesting. I don't know. But yeah, I've always been a book girl. I just like reading. It was mainly like whenever I was younger, like all through. Well, so I hated reading up until I was like 6 or 7, and then my parents said that I wasn't allowed to play any video games until I learned how to read, and I really wanted to play Knights of the Old Republic with my brother, because my brother was playing it and I would always watch him play it, and I really wanted to play it, and they said that I couldn't play it until I learned how to read. So then I learned how to read, and my brother was like, you can't play it, it's my game, and he would never let me play it. So then I learned how to read for nothing. And so then I started reading books, and I read like the Gregor the Overlander series, which I really liked, and I read like Artemis Fowl and Percy Jackson and all of those. I know, I literally got scammed. But I read like all of the like kid fantasy series, and got really into reading, and then I was like non-stop just reading a bunch of books up until like freshman year of high school, and then I just stopped reading because then I got really into anime. Like, I had already been kind of into anime, but then I got really into anime. So then I only read manga, and I was like, books are nothing. I like manga now. Manga's way cooler. And I would never read books anymore. And then I completely stopped until very recently. Like, it's been the past couple months that I've like really gotten back into reading. I think I read a little bit through like college. Like, I read Song of Ice and Fire and that whole series, and I went back and reread the Lord of the Rings books, and I read like a bunch of other books and stuff, and I like would slowly read it, but I wasn't like consuming everything. But then these past couple months I've been like consuming everything. Like, I've been reading like a book a new book every 3 days. Like, these past books that I read, the ones that made me really upset with the cliffhanger, I read. There's 2 books so far. It's a 5-book series. I read the first book in 4 days, and the second book, which was longer, I read in 2 days. So I got like I've really reignited my spark for like devouring books recently, which has made me really happy. Have you read the Narnia books? I have read Narnia. I liked Narnia. I liked the movies too. Just because I like fantasy stuff. I feel like there's not enough, especially like movies, there's just not enough like fantasy movies out there. There's not enough. I need more. You're a voracious. I love reading. So right now, the book that I'm reading, I'll tell you guys about it. It's embarrassing, but I'll tell you guys the book that I was reading that was keeping me up, but I don't think you guys are gonna like it. It's very. This sounds like so like sexist, but it's a very girly book. It's like very romancy, enemies to lovers. They're dragon riders on this like campus, and like it's like a war college, and they're like learning how to be dragon riders for war. And the 2 main characters, dragons, are like they're like a bonded pair, and so the 2 main characters like hate each other and they're enemies, and they're like his dad killed her brother, and her mom killed his dad, and they like hate each other. They hate each other. But their dragons are bonded, and so they're like stuck together, and then they like slowly fall in love, and it's like all romancy. And then there's also war and political intrigue and fighting and action and magic and all sorts of cool stuff. But it is very, very girly. It's very romancy. But it's called Fourth Wing. It's I really liked it. It's really cringy. It's maybe one of the cringiest books that I've ever like the whole time, like I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was silly and interesting, and I'm really excited for the third book. But it very much reads like it's just like like their dragons are bonded for life, so they're stuck together forever, no matter what. So even if they hate each other, they're never gonna be able to get away from each other because of their dragons. And like it's so like cringy. And like it's the kind of romance where like the guy is like, I'll move the ends of the world for you. I would rather lose this war than lose you. Like it's so like it's so goofy. It's so goofy, so I do not recommend it at all. But yeah, it's called Fourth Wing, or the Empyrean series, I think. I do not read it. Do not read it at all. Ever. And if you do read it, don't tell me you read it, because I'll be really embarrassed. But that's what I was reading, that like the last book ended on like a crazy cliffhanger, like an insane cliffhanger, and I was like, this is awful. There's not even a release date for book 3. What am I supposed to do? So then I started reading a book that does not have any hand-holding scenes at all. It doesn't have any. So don't buy it! No. It's like okay, I don't want you guys to hear me say this and then be like, expect it to be a really good book, because it's really not that good of a book. I just found it really entertaining. But like the writing is not it's making me sound worse because of how much I liked it, but like the writing is not very good. But apparently they're making it into like a TV show with Amazon. So I guess if you're really that interested, watch it when it comes out on Amazon. But yeah, like I want to learn what Nana. No, it's too embarrassing. Please don't read it. Please don't read it. Please don't read it. It's not good. It's not good. But what I'm reading right now is a book that does not have any hand-holding scenes, so it's super good. But it's called An Ember in the Ashes, and it's really good. And it's a dual perspective book, so you follow there's a female character that you're following and a male character that you're following, and it's basically this world where like the empire that they're in is like controlled by these people called the marshals, and they're all about like military fighting, manpower, like swords, and ruling with like brute force and an iron fist, right? Also, I saw somebody say, have you read any Bryan Sanderson stuff? No, I have not. I should look him up. I feel like I should know who that is, and I don't. Have you ever read The Dresden Files? I haven't! Oh my gosh! I haven't, but my mom recommended those to me recently, and I forgot what they were called. Thank you so much! I was so interested in reading those, and I never read them. But I was really interested in them, so thank you. Oh, but An Ember in the Ashes, it's like a martial empire ruling with an iron fist, and they've taken over what used to be like a scholarly land where everything was ruled by like knowledge and books and information, and the marshals have come and they've taken over, and they have this like big school where they train people to be like scary, like military. It's like a military school, and the highest ranks in the military school are these people called the masks, where they have like this liquid mask, like this liquid metal mask that they put on, and like the longer you wear it, it like slowly melts with your skin, like it melts into you. And so the main boy, he goes to this school as a mask, and he's like, when the book starts, he's like 2 days away from graduation, and he hates the empire, he hates the marshals, he hates all of it, and he doesn't want to be a mask, but he was forced into it. And so he actually, like, whenever he's in private, he always takes the mask off, so his hasn't melded to his skin yet, but everybody else in the school, theirs has. So like his just kind of sits on top of it, so everybody thinks he's weird, because everybody else in the whole school, their masks are one with their face except for him. And the main girl, she is one of the like townspeople. She's descended from the scholar people, and her brother, like when the book starts, gets kidnapped by the marshals for drawing their weaponry. He's like sketching their forges and their weaponry and everything, and he's like learning the ins and outs and working with the rebellion and everything. And so he gets kidnapped, and she has to go find the rebellion and try to save her brother because he's in jail now. So her whole thing is she like goes to the rebellion or the resistance or whatever, and they send her to go spy on the leader of this school, who happens to be the main guy's mom. So she goes in to be like a maid and a spy for the leader of the school, and he is in the school currently trying to get out of the school and like take down the empire. So you're reading like two different perspectives from like opposite sides but the same sides, both trying to like learn informations and take down the empire and working for different sides of the rebellion. And it's really, really interesting. I'm not explaining it very well because I'm not very far into it. I started it yesterday, like last night, and I'm like, I think I'm like 8 chapters in, maybe 9, but it's really, really good. But yeah. Mistborn is a good series. I hated book 2 though. Oh, interesting. You might like the Stormlight Archives, very original setting, also set during a long war. Interesting. I really like fantasy war books. Here, I'll add this to my list. Okay, this is Brandon Sanderson. Okay. This looks good. This looks very good. I've added it to the list. I just love books. And I'm eating them right now. I'm like eating them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like any time that I'm not streaming or working, you can bet I'm either reading or like streaming or working or sleeping. I read the first 3 books, they're really great. Oh, nice. Book 1's a bit slow because there's a lot of world building. That's okay. One of my favorite books is by Tad Williams. It's called Otherland, and the entire first book is like 1,000 pages of just world building. But that's like one of my favorite book series of all time. So I think I can get behind it. Do you practice any exercise? I do exercise. I actually exercise while I'm reading a lot. I'll do like I'll do like a lot of just like warm-ups while I'm reading, and then I go for a lot of runs, or I do like some rock climbing in my free time. I like bouldering a lot. It's kind of a niche hobby. But I really like rock climbing. Also in the summers I like surfing, but I don't do that very often because it's hard to like, you know, go to the ocean. But I do like a lot of stuff like that. But yeah. I think despite popular belief, even though I spend most of my time inside reading, I am a very like active person. Weirdly. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it's weird. I'm very active, but I don't know how to ride a bike, so I feel like it kind of contradicts that. You're a very odd combination of things. I think so too. I think so. I'm like a neat introvert that also loves sports. Well, not sports, because I don't like sports balls. Like I don't like basketball and like football and stuff like that. But I did gymnastics for a little bit, and I did a little bit of track and field in high school. I don't know. I like the non contact sports. I think that's what it is. No wonder Nano is the Queen of Australia. Yeah! That's right. No, that's not the right accent. Arnar! Aryar! I'm the Queen of Australia. I can't do it. I can't do the accent. Everybody always tells me that. They always say that I'm a very weird person. That's what they always tell me. They always just say that I'm a very strange combination of different types of people. Like I keep to myself. I don't talk to people, but I love being active. But I also hate being outside. But I also love like nerdier things and like learning and reading and science and history and anime. But I hate math. I just feel like I'm like if somebody just took a bunch of different personality traits from like 20 different people and put them into one person. That's how I feel sometimes. It's how one of my friends always makes fun of me because like she'll be like, "Oh, Nano, I just got into this new hobby or I just started this new thing," and I'll always be like, "Oh, I love that thing." And she's like, "If I didn't know you better, I would think that you're just like one of the like a people pleaser." Like she'll be like, "Oh, I just got into knitting," and I'm like, "I love knitting." She's like, "How do you have the time in the day to have all of these like random hobbies and interests?" And truly, I think it's not that I have the time in the day, it's that my brain gets tired of things very easily. So I'll just have like a couple months in my life where like for a couple months I'm really into knitting and crochet and sewing, and then for a couple months I'm really into surfing, and then for a couple months I'm really into rock climbing, and then for a couple months I'm really into camping, and then for a couple months I'm really into anime, and then for a couple months I'm really into like playing trombone, and then so I don't do all of them at once, but I just like my brain gets tired of things, so I'll be like, I'm done learning how to cook. I've decided that I'm going to read now. And then I just get like hyper fixated on that for a couple months. Sounds like you might have ADHD. I mean, I definitely have ADHD. I've known that for my whole life. So you have surfed before? Yeah, I've surfed before. I'm not very good at it, but I do enjoy it. Yeah, I just get like a bunch of really random hyperfixations, and I think hyperfixation is truly the only word that I can use to describe it, because it is like right now it's reading, where I truly cannot fathom spending any of my free time doing anything but reading right now. Like if I'm not working on stream stuff or like working in general or streaming, my brain truly cannot do anything but read. Like if I'm not reading, then I'm thinking about reading, and I'm thinking that I'm upset that I'm not reading. Like earlier today, I got home and I like opened my phone and I went to TikTok and I was scrolling TikTok, and like every single video I'd watch, I'd be like, I don't want to watch TikTok, I want to read. I don't want to do this, I want to read. But TikTok is like that weird thing where like I can't stop scrolling, so I have to like physically force myself. So I have this thing where if I find myself scrolling TikTok, I'll just like look up something really cringy. Like I'll look up like some just like really like Five Nights at Freddy's something or like something really weird, and I'll watch like a really cringy video, and then that gets me to drop TikTok, because I'm like, this site sucks, I don't want to watch this anymore. I trick my brain into hating it. I doom scroll so much. You just had to crush a roach? Wow. Yeah, I look up like really cringy videos, and then my brain is like, TikTok is cringe, and then I'm able to put it down. But it's true, like I'll be like eating dinner, and I'm like, I need to hurry up and finish eating dinner so I can read my book. It's like, I feel like it's this thing right now where everybody's like, oh, I'm like hyper fixated on this, and a lot of times I feel like they don't know what a true hyperfixation is, because a true hyperfixation is like so detrimental to everything else. Like I don't want to talk to people, I don't want to do anything, I just want to focus on whatever I'm hyperfixating on. And I feel like that's very different than what a lot of people are being like, oh, like I'm so hyperfixated on Dune right now. I'm watching Dune lore videos. And it's like, I don't know if you're hyperfixated on it or if you just like it. But also, to each their own. If they think they're hyperfixated, they're hyperfixated. I don't want to tell people how their brains work, because I feel like that's mean. But a lot of times I feel like when my friends will be like, I'm hyperfixated on this thing, I'm like, are you? Yeah, I feel like you just really, really like it. Like, you're really interested in it and you want to learn more about it, which is a great thing. But I feel like when I'm hyperfixated on something, it's so dangerous to my life. It's like when people say they have OCD but kind of like to fold their socks and stuff. Yeah, like you have OCD but actually you just kind of like to clean a lot. But again, like, I don't want to tell people what they have. If you truly think that you have OCD or you truly think that you're hyperfixated on something, then I'm not going to tell you that you're not, because I feel like everybody knows their brain the best, and if that's what they think's going on, that's what they think's going on. But for me, hyperfixations are like detrimental to my real life. In this sense, you do sound quite a bit like a certain senpai of yours, really? I believe it. I believe it. We're all like weirdly similar. Too many people do not know their brain the best. Well, that's true. Baking is very fun. I also love to bake. When late is our boomer princess flexing the boomer. I feel like I haven't been that boomerish today, have I? I feel like I haven't. I feel like I haven't been too. No, we did spend an hour and a half talking about Ranma. Maybe I am. Maybe I can't escape it. I think by nature, hyperfixation is kind of detrimental. Well, yeah, because like for me at least, it's like I don't want to talk to my friends. I don't want to like do things. I don't want to like leave the house. I don't want to go grocery shopping. I don't want to go to the gas station because I just want to spend all of my time focusing on this thing. It's like plaguing my brain. Did you like the cookies I made? Were you the one that posted the heart cookies on Twitter? Those were really pretty. Those were very, very pretty. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I don't mind having hyperfixations though, because I guess it makes my life more interesting. Not in the way that like it's interesting to be hyperfixated on something, but it makes it so whenever I'm talking to people, because I switch around on like what my brain is fixating on so much, like every couple months, like I was saying, like I feel like I'm able to talk to a lot of different kinds of people about a lot of different things. Like I can always find a common interest with somebody. Like I feel like I've never met anybody that I didn't have anything in common with, or like didn't know anything about their interests, which I feel like gives me like a good advantage. But also I don't like talking to people, so I feel like that makes it an issue, because I'm very introverted, so I don't meet enough people to use that information on. But when I do talk to people, like if I get introduced to like a friend of a friend, I'm able to be like, oh, you like this thing? Like I know a little bit about that. Yeah, it's a lot of variety. It spices up your life. So you're a yapper? Do you guys think I am? I feel like this is our first like just chatting stream, where like there's no activity, there's no PowerPoint, we're just talking. I feel like that's a big win for me. I didn't think I'd be able to do something like this. I thought that I was gonna have nothing to talk about, and I was just gonna sit here like staring blankly at the screen for an hour. But I feel like I've been yapping a lot. I feel like starting off by just talking about like Ranma, like something that I know a lot about and I'm able to just like talk at you about, has helped me like get into the mood of just like yapping around, having a convo. I'm yapping. But just chatting is honestly super comfy, especially a little good. Oh, thank you. Oh, that makes me so happy. Having a lot of interest is great. I like having something to talk about with everyone. Me too. I just feel like it makes navigating life a lot easier, you know? Because if you can't find, like, if you run across people that you can't find anything in common with, or like you can't find anything to talk about them with, I feel like it makes it really difficult to like understand that person. And then that's how I think a lot of people like come across people that they just really dislike or hate. And I really try in my life to not hate people. Like I always want to be able to find something that I can like understand about them, because I don't know, everybody's going through different things. Everybody's going through different things. Yeah, it's hard to connect. Started at 120% and have kept up all this time. Have I really? I'm really glad. I feel like I don't know. I guess I'm not as confident in my yapping abilities as I should be, maybe. I don't know. Nanobots have enemies? Why do you guys have enemies? Who are your enemies? Who are you enemies with? I have no well, maybe I do have an enemy. Maybe I just have one enemy. Just one enemy. But other than that, no enemies. As Vinland Saga has taught us, I have no enemies. Yeah! That's the good way to live. I feel like the more enemies you make, the harder life is. Because, I don't know, why spend all your time and energy hating someone when you could just not think about them? Like, if you really, really, like, don't have anything in common with somebody, just, like, don't think about them. That's my motto. That's what I live by. I'm glad you guys have been enjoying the yapping, the chatting, the rambling. I feel like it was really fun. It was like a very like calming chat for me. I was able to just kind of relax. Don't have to worry about like focusing on a game or like worry about like trying to be like good at a game or anything. I can just like word vomit. You can just kind of like blah and talk about whatever. It's nice. You guys are also easy to talk to, so that's good. If you guys were harder to talk to, I don't know. Like if I was just talking at a wall, I don't know if I'd be able to do it. It's just a navigator and her nanobots. Yeah, yeah. When I imagine the nanobots, I imagine like, you know, whenever like a mama duck is like walking around and all her baby ducks are like walking behind her. That's what I imagine. Like I'm walking around and then just like a bunch of little like nanobots, like teeny tiny little like robots following me around. That's how I imagine you guys. Listening to me is relaxing. Oh, I'm glad. That really makes me feel so good about myself. You guys are boosting my ego. My head's gonna get so big. But we are cats? Oh, sorry, you're little cat robots. That's how I imagine you in my head. Like little robot cats. The nanobots. I think with that, we're gonna go ahead and end it here for today, if that's okay. Is that alright? I need to make some dinner and read my book. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I am gonna read as soon as I end stream. I have my book sitting right next to me. I am gonna binge my book a little bit. and I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna make dinner. I'm thinking I'm gonna do curry today. I have all the ingredients to make Japanese curry, so I'm thinking I'm gonna do that. I've been making it a lot recently because it's really easy. But yeah. And I'm gonna read. Can you blame me? I just talked for an hour about how obsessed I am with reading. If I didn't read, I feel like I'd be like a liar. Will you share some with us? Maybe. If I feel benevolent, I'll give you a tiny crumb. Maybe. Okay, let me look for somebody to raid. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, who am I gonna raid? Let's see, who's live? Ooh! Let's return the love. So this person raided me last stream, and they're streaming right now. So I think we can go ahead and return the vibes, return the love. So we're gonna raid Hoshizora Meeting, who's streaming right now. If that's okay. If that's okay. I know some of the senpais are streaming, but I feel like I read the senpais every single day. So we'll read Hoshizora Meeting as a thank you for raiding us last time. I think that'll be good. But thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out and talking with me and letting me talk at you about all my interests. I feel like I definitely did just kind of like ramble on and 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 on for the entire stream, but I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. Also, I was thinking maybe we could do like, I don't know, maybe we could do something like this, but like book reviews, like talking about like summarizing books in the future. If you guys liked it, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I thought it was really, really fun. Or summarizing like more anime. Maybe I could do a Sailor Moon one where I go through the entire plot of Sailor Moon. I thought that could be kind of fun. If you guys enjoyed this kind of style of stream, I don't know. But thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out and letting me go on and on and on and live my little ADHD life. I had a lot of fun, and I will see you guys on Friday for keyboard building ASMR, where we're gonna build a One Piece themed keyboard. It's actually the keyboard that I already used, but I need to switch out the switches. So I don't wanna lie to you guys. This is a keyboard that I already have, like the caps I already have used before, but I'm switching out the switches to new ones. So we're gonna build the whole thing with a hand cam. Yay! And it's gonna be really fun. But thank you again for coming. I love you guys. I'll miss you. And make sure to fasten your seatbelts and prepare for anti-gravity, because we are going to space. おつなの